the law. It's Open House Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. YK in the building. How you doing? Good to have you.
I have so
many G's.
So many.
Are you serious? What happened?
Okay, I'm just like
Tuesday.
this now.
Yeah.
My younger sister is getting married today at the registry.
Oh,
so I'm going there. Mutura is getting married today. Congratulations to her.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Then a lot of people are after me, my car.
Did you why?
Don't bash it.
Do you know what happened to me on Tuesday?
After you went, it almost got burnt.
After I almost got burnt on Saturday, I went to the... I was coming, because Nima gave me one thing like this that was making me hungry. So I stopped at one eatery to buy food. I went to go and greet someone whose husband passed away. Coming back now, I stopped at the eatery. As I just parked, like this, I parked, oh, there was a... I can't name the brand.
Yes.
Those people that sell drinks, soft drinks, packed. Do you know that the fridge on top of that car?
It's a lie.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
Well, see my car, see the fridge. See my car, see the fridge. Eh?
You should park the car.
Just dodge it.
Mikey.
I wonder.
In spiritual balance, I mean, in Christianese, just chill. Don't even go out. There's an angel there, just sit down in your house.
He's working. The angel is working. He's working for you.
He's working. At least you're escaping.
You will continue to give thanks. You will continue to escape. There's an angel protecting.
I open my window, I say, you people.
Don't try yourself.
Money, I will just follow you to your company and die there with you people because I won't take from you. Fridge on top of my car.
Okay, you'll be all right. But next time I have say, blood of Jesus. You just say that, blood of Jesus, I reject it. And to not come near you.
You see those ones? It's the blood of that mineral company that I will collect. Anyway. I will take sorry and I will take repair.
How are you doing? Let me come to Nima. How are you?
Fine, thank you, Weki, for making me laugh. What a day yesterday. I wanted to rest, but my son has been on and off. Around the temperature, but he's always very active. So I just thought things were okay until the temperature kept going up. I took my own thermometer at home to be checking, and it was 37, almost 38. I started worrying. So we went to the hospital, and he has a bit of infection. But the drama was when they were taking the sample. He need to be there. So I want to shout out to the people in the lab at the Mother and Child Care Center in Amodofin. Thank you, Ma. Ma, 3 mothers. And he was negotiating with them. Even I was laughing and holding him. I couldn't hold him still. So
talking about shout out, I even forgot to shout out. Thank you for even saying that, because with this doing that fuel scarcity, I went to association, I can't mention the brand name, I'm sorry guys. It was a petrol station, an association in Lupeju. I'm sure they know themselves. They're so kind, they're so nice. Someone recognized me like this. They said, don't worry, we'll get you full. In fact, I wanted to get jerry can for the generator. They said, we're going to find you. We're going to find you. So they're so kind. Thank you, guys. I can't mention your brand name, but thank you so much for your kindness. How are you doing, Tokwe?
I'm good. Grateful to God for life. And over... when she was talking about shout-out hospitals, I need to just always say again that we really, really need to help our medical care officials. I know that most of our doctors and nurses in general hospitals are overworked, but a little kindness will go a long way. Like people are already in pain, and then they come to the hospital and we don't want, you shouldn't be rude to a sick person. You shouldn't shout at a sick person. You shouldn't take out your frustration. You know, bedside manners or being kind, let's sort of find a way to bring it back. And I understand the average doctor is not happy with the pay, you're not happy with the environment, but it's not the person's fault that they are sick. It's really disheartening to see the way some patients get treated just because you don't have the money to tip, and sometimes you have to tip because you are nice. They are nicer to you because they know you are always tipping or something. I don't know, but we really need to do better.
Yesterday we had that conversation. They're overwhelmed.
Yes,
they need to keep the data and know when to replace. They are constantly leaving the country, and those that are willing to stay are overworked. Then that's another disappointing thing is that for children medicine that I've always known to be free in government hospitals, we bought everything yesterday.
Yes, you buy everything.
Think of it that they are underpaid, overworked, and then they are all leaving Nigeria. I mean, our president went to Belgium, I heard that, and he said they should stop giving our people visas. But they are running away.
All right, let's go on a break.
Are you not the one to want to make sure they don't run?
Right back. When we come back, we'll go with the review of the paper. Stay with us. Right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
WhatsApp message. Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Lawmakers to vote on VAT, power devolution, and others. Violence Mars Osun PDP ward delegates poll. Aregbesol's man asked court to void Oyetola's victory. Airlines lost $60 million to bird strikes in 1 year. Court orders forfeiture of 10 properties linked to Yari. And the IMF calls for banks' recapitalization. Okay, there are lots of stories. I actually wanted to take some of the constitutional amendment. I know it's all over the papers, but see, this is such an important period that I think all Nigerians must pay attention to what's going on. Remember, we're talking about this restructuring, the evolution of powers, state policing. It has come to the point where now the lawmakers have gone around the country. They have laid their report to the House yesterday. In fact, the president's wife came to show solidarity. Okay, that's your 68 recommendations on the women's bill also should be part of it. And I mean, and she was there in person to show you how important it is. So they've submitted it to the lawmakers. As we said yesterday, they're going to begin to vote next week, Tuesday, March 1st. It's such an important period because they're going to be voting on immunity for lawmakers, decentralization of railways, airports, electricity transmission, the mayor of Abuja, indigenship, diaspora voting, citizen rights, financial autonomy for House of Assembly. Even the members of the House of Assembly or National Assembly want to also be going to the next meetings. You know, there are so many things within this list that are so crucial to a democracy because if some of them passes, it comes to the devolution of power that we're talking about, the restructuring we're talking about, we will get it. So it's important for all of us to pay attention. If you know your lawmakers, let's begin to start reviewing and tell them what you want because when they vote next week, Tuesday, hopefully that will be the beginning of the restructuring that many of us seek in this country.
So the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has forfeited temporarily an interim order, give an interim order to temporarily forfeit, at least for 60 days. The order is supposed to last for 60 days. 10 properties belonging to the ex-governor of Zamfara State, including some in the U.S. and Abuja and other places, and including monies in the bank. Yes, that's all.
Sorry, I distracted you. I'm sorry I distracted you. Go ahead.
Okay, so that's basically what it's about. But in 60 days, it's supposed to allow the ICPC enough time to complete their investigations. I'm hoping that they don't squash this investigation. Know that it's good people are investigating.
So, sad story of, there are going to be a lot of Congress, what do you call those, delegates Congress from different parties build up to the elections. And the one that took place in Osun PDP yesterday got bloody. 2 people got killed. A car got touched. The violence marred the PDP Delegates Congress in Osun State yesterday, and I believe these are avoidable deaths because thugs were paid by some politicians, and I need to say it clearly. Thugs were paid because no thug would go and burn a car without being paid. No thug would go and kill another person without being paid. Thugs were paid by politicians to attack and scuttle the process that should be smooth. Please, it is too early for us to start having these cases. I believe...
So unfair.
Okay, it's worse than unfair. So do we hate ourselves so much that politicians are fighting do or die for offices that they're selfish about? It's not about the people. When are we going to stop this nonsense of being tools in their hands?
You see, that is my own problem. You are fighting for what exactly? Is it not to go and serve?
If it is really to serve,
it's not about to serve, it's about,
so that means
control.
You're not fighting to go and serve, you're fighting to go and chop.
Is there any other story there? Airlines? Somebody has that story?
I'll take another place.
Okay, let's move on quickly now to the Punch. Fire destroys Finance Ministry inverter room. Hoodlums guarded by cops, soldiers demolish structures in Lagos slum. Ogun pastor rapes member during deliverance from spirit husband. Federal government school feeding costs 100 naira per child, scheme to gulp ₦1 billion daily. Court orders interim forfeiture of Jari's U.S. properties and others. Buhari signs electoral bill Friday, CSO suspend protest. Fuel scarcity persists as NNPC releases 387.6 million naira liters. Strike continues as SU insists in Gige pleads with union. And current system suffocating Nigeria, says Kuka. Okay, which story are we taking there? YK?
The first story I'll take is the Ogun pastor. He said the Ogun State Police have arrested a Randy pastor, Matthew Oladakbo. He had unlawful carnal with a 19-year-old member of his church. He had told the girl, he had seen vision. Look,
Of a spirit husband.
yeah, you have a spirit husband. So you have to come to the church and fast for 3 days. And when she came, he laid her, he gave her a room. She should just lie down here and she should lie naked. He came there on the first night and he started to rub anointing oil on her. And from anointing oil, he started to do the unthinkable.
Rubbing anointing oil on her.
And cover the mouth
And then the girl, very sensible, she just went to the police and reported him. So
I'm so happy. I think things are changing. For a young girl to know that the first thing I do is go straight to the police station. I'm so happy. It means that our information, our conversation on this rape issue is getting to
there. Because he was arrested and he said
he was arrested and he
was
confessed.
led by the spirit.
That
he was led by the spirit to
so
do
he
that.
must have been the spirit husband.
Yeah.
Better go a school feeding program. Nima, you have that story.
I do. So the federal government has...
I don't know how it got to 100 naira. I thought it was 17 naira. Last I checked, it was
100
17 naira.
Yeah.
100 naira daily. I'm looking for the link. 100 naira daily per child to feed our children in school and 1 billion naira daily for all the schools covered. So we're looking at the total cost, and I'm worried that, this is what the government is proposing as a way out. Of course, we know that school feeding was supposed to encourage enrollment of more children in school and help us reduce the out-of-school children numbers. But it's not been that effective because we still have a total number of out-of-school children increasing. We took that on Tuesday in the papers.
There are other factors.
A lot of other factors. And now there's failure of audits of these monies so far spent. They've not gained anybody's trust by doing this. We need to show proper auditing. Now maybe give it to an independent group to handle. You can't continue to be an employee of government handling this. There's also an issue of how do you balance 100 naira per child feeding. If you say the food contains food as well as protein, which is of course eggs or milk that they're using,
and protein.
there's an imbalance.
So actually, somebody told me about that analogy. Because you're getting from the source, the government is actually also the ones giving the poultry farmers are the ones giving the eggs, and there's a way they do it where they will, I think, from that analysis.
Standard.
Well, now it depends on what the new complaint. But when somebody was talking about it, it was actually 17 naira that was agreed that was sufficient per child if they're going to use the state resources.
It makes sense because then they're creating employment for the farmers.
Yeah.
But then, who vets the quality of food? And
why gets the children?
That gets the children. And why is it not an external auditor that disburses the money so that we have proper accountability?
People don't just trust this government. I don't understand.
Maybe
we should have to. It's not a matter of
we don't trust the government.
It has nothing to do with government. It's ourselves.
Yes.
We are the people in government.
Exactly.
Who is in government?
So we should get.
Is it foreigners?
They say they have covered 10 billion children. They say they have 10 million children covered under this. We are spending 1 billion. We need the maths to clear. 2 plus 2 must be 4.
Let's tell China.
Something else.
Come on, let's list our government. No, it's true now because we don't trust. When government wants to do something, you don't trust them. So let us list government to China. Come and be our governance. No, it's true now. No, we don't trust government.
No,
they don't trust.
Why is it difficult?
We should ask government any question. Just turn everything upside down. And we will not allow you to turn it upside down.
We'll be right back. We'll go on a break.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so we're going to take one more story in Punch.
Yes, so there is a slum apparently in Ikota opposite within the Etios local government, and this slum has some proper residents. The area was demolished by hoodlums who were guarded by cops and soldiers. They demolished the structure. The youths within the area protested. They protested to the point of going to the Ogombo LCDA. Complaints have been made to find out what exactly happened, because the people that are living in those areas said that they had no official letter, or they were not given any notice. And there was no paper that the hoodlums didn't come with any paper. The hoodlums just came to demolish, and the police and security people were protecting them while they were demolishing their own structures. The confirmation, they say OPC members have been patrolling the area to keep the area at peace. The Lagos State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Benga Motoshaw, confirmed that there must be that it's likely there's a dispute, but the government is trying to settle it for them. Okay. While the government is settling, they've demolished the houses and those people are displaced.
And you said they gave them time to move their property. Not a long time. We're standing there, remove your property. But when the youth started protesting, they now say, okay, they now started demolishing with their property, and it was just really, really messy.
Daily Sun declares sponsors of terrorism wanted senators for the government. Niger governor preference for young president, that's 2023. Electoral bill, Buhari to ascend tomorrow. Airlines deny 50,000 naira fare hike. Say operators lose 20 billion naira monthly over bird strikes. Methodist bishop laments Leah Sharibu's continued captivity. Fuel scarcity, and NPC distributes 387.5 million liters. Queues reduces. And strike, FG and ASU dialogue deadlocked. Okay,
so let's talk about Leah Sharibu quickly. A bishop of a Methodist church, Nigeria, and president of Vision for African radio station, Sunday Onoha, was lamenting while speaking at Michael Okpara Auditorium, Umaiha. It's a security sensitization program, and he spoke about the fact that terrorists have adopted Leah Sharibu since 2018 in Yobe State. And the cleric frowned at the situation that the young female student who was adopted is still in captivity. Abducted was still in captivity till date, and saying that, also mentioning other issues like the ASU strike and all of that, but the real lamentation is the fact that we must remember that Leah is still in captivity since 2018. So.
And Nigeria seems to have moved on. It's been a very long time. Poor innocent girl is there, but it seems that the country and the leadership have moved on. Let's take the major headline now, the constitutional review.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so we have about 68 amendments in the presently conducted constitutional reviews proposed already. Some of them will take in bits, but one of them is the immunity for Senate President and Speaker. So the House is also proposing an immunity for presiding officers of the National Assembly. The immunity under Section 308 only covers the President, Vice President, governors and deputy governors, and those are the only executive members covered. But now they have widened it to cover presiding officers of both houses. And this, for me, is overdue, because I don't know how to speak English. You see, it's overdue an abuse of this thing called immunity. It's no longer immunity. Because these people will now not be able to be brought under any criminal or civil investigations as well as prosecution while they are sitting in office. And we're already having feeling the disadvantage and the abuse of the other ones that we've done so far. We are looking to amend that, and now you're widening it to cover. I think it is wrong.
My own problem with it
was rejected.
Why do you want to, if you are not intending to be a criminal, why are you looking for immunity? I want to go there, do my work. I don't need immunity now. And if I'm not going to be doing anything, chopping money.
If you can be removed by House members without even an impeachment process like we think of, why do you think you need immunity? What's the clash with your office that you think? Because under the 308, the president and those already covered by the immunity clause is to be protected from distractions while they are holding office to be able to carry out their work.
All right, let's move on to another story. Yes,
so airline operators, I think airline operators have been accused of ganging up to increase the price of tickets to 50,000 naira, and they're replying that no, they did not gang up. The truth is they have like 37 charges. That the standard of 50,000 naira has been ongoing for a long time. That sometimes when they finish paying about the 37 charges that they pay to different agencies affiliated within the airport, what they have left from a ticket is 5,000 naira, and that airlines lose a lot of money. Explained all the charges, but I believe that the airline industry have been complaining. We, using the airline industry in Nigeria, we are complaining. I think that there should be a roundtable to have a proper conversation because it's essential for ease of movements.
They also complained that the airfare has gone up from 190, the jet fuel, sorry, has gone up from 190 to 430 per litre in the last 1 year. That's a big
leap.
All right, so the Senate yesterday also have asking the federal government to please list out those who are sponsoring terrorism.
Yes.
And this was by the lawmaker from Kebbi State. He was lamenting what's going on in his state. He said the bandits are moving in hundreds, village to village, house to house, in search of cattle to rustle and people to abduct. Some houses have been, residents have been totally burnt down, rendering them homeless without food to survive. He was just lamenting that women are raped, young ones are dehumanized, and we need them to name the sponsors so they can be prosecuted because they've got to this issue of banditry and kidnapping has reached a level where they are kidnapping people in broad daylight. So it's no more we will do it, they will do it. It's now like name them and let us prosecute people so that we can stop this, this banditry that's going on in the States.
I mean, wanted list. Put them on wanted list.
From the leaders of these guys. Because they know the leaders. They know the names.
Name them.
Otitoju calling them, calls their names. He knows their names. So if he knows their names, who are the intelligent?
The DSS knows their names. So.
Vanguard, Convention, APC, government, others, stakeholders battle over party chair. Insecurity, declare all known leaders of terrorism. We talked about that. Scarcity, NNPC releases distribution details of the 387.5 million litres of petrol. Now that the petrol is out there, nobody's talking about petrol again. See how we're all passing it.
Okay, now.
Reps panel makes U-turn, proposes immunity for Senate President. Era of election rigging overseas INEC. Bad fuel, our imported product met Nigerian specification, says Duke Oil and Oando. Welfare, IGB orders distribution of uniforms, kits, orders to all police personnel. And Buhari to sign electoral bill tomorrow. Okay.
Let me take NNPC now. So NNPC says that they have released 387.59 million litres of PMS to shore up, the deficit that we have, and that will help clear the queue. But according to the Punch report on it, scarcity still persists, and this is because some oil marketers are focusing on them, on their what's it called, their own branches, or how do I put it? They're looking at. The depots are supplying directly to their own people first. But also in this same report, the House of Reps summoned the oil marketers who supposedly brought in the methanol the blended product. NNPC named them. They said there were 4 of them, and they named them in this report. And they include the MRS, Oando, Duke Oil, and MT Bao Pioneer, I think. But Oando and Duke Oil went before the House of Reps, and they insisted that the NNPC approved this dirty fuel that, when their own is to supply it, that the NNPC approved it. So I think they just pushed the burden of the responsibility of that back to that. While we are at it, those affected can do a civil action. They should already have started it against the NNPC and these 4 oil marketers as all depots as parties.
Yeah.
So that
we need to defend them.
If they want to pay me, all right. So I have great news because I've been one of my issues in this with the Nigerian police has been that their uniform. So I was so excited to read this paper, this article. So the Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Kali Baba, has ordered immediate distribution of uniforms, kits, and accoutrements, which the force recently procured to all the various zones across the country. Now this is going to be to members of the inspectorate, non-commissioned officers, NCOs, constables, cadets in police force, and it's going to be a quarterly distribution that's going to be done. And this was in line with this reform that we're asking for the Nigerian police. I don't like the color. I'm hoping it's the blue color that they're sending.
No, it's the black.
How do you know?
It's the same black.
How do you know?
They have blue.
It might be blue. You never know.
Change it to the blue.
It might be blue. You just never know.
They've changed the uniform. It's not more
They have the blue and black camo, like the military for the Joint Task Force. They have.
So the Inspector General has charged the police to imbibe the habits of proper and clean out, just proper welfare and cleanliness.
It's just part of the mismanagement of this country. The uniform originally was blue. When I was growing up, it was blue.
Wow. You thought black would be easier to maintain. That's why they changed it to black.
I don't understand. Maybe they wanted them to be Dead Sea. I don't understand. They just, because they wasted a lot of money in changing all those blue uniforms to black, and now we're going back to blue.
Well, whatever it is, my own is that I'm happy
when they change it to black.
that the police is still, they are paying attention, because we spoke to a few of them who complain that they have to buy their own uniforms themselves.
Yes,
so this is really, really exciting to know that the police have finally they found a budget. It's not in their budget. So every quarter they distribute to this police officer. That's
so they
great
can
news.
look better.
They can look
I just hope
better.
it gets to the lower kids.
Please, I need to just quickly, before we run off, Daily Trust had a story that says 80% of military personnel are performing police duties in 36 states. Says that, that's from Chief of Defense Staff General Lucky Irabo, said it yesterday, that we expect the military to be everywhere. The duty of protecting within the border is for the police. The military is stretched, and we are putting pressure on them to now secure every location. Those are police duties, and that military is on ground in 36 states trying to do what police should be doing. Essentially, we're back to equip the police so that the military can focus on what it's meant to do.
Or recruit more police, sir. We need more.
Obviously.
That is all we can take on Front Page. It's Thursday. When we come back, we're bringing our friends from Rollard Properties. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. So today we're talking about recipe for time management. Firstly, what is time management? Time management is using your time intelligently. And how, therefore, do you become more effective if you don't manage your time? So one of the few recipes for time management is prioritization. Prioritization is one of the recipes for time management because you can achieve more when you start dedicating time to the right things.
I think it's very important. We get easily distracted in this new world. And so even for me, I do these trainings for people that work with me selling real estate, and I talk about the importance of setting priorities because many of them do other things. So that's where this recipe for time management becomes very essential. And another way to do, apart from prioritizing, is to say scheduling, you know. So in setting priorities, you should have your schedule. So you list your schedule, what is important. For many people that do multiple things, like me, like Nima, like YK not really many things, but between me and Nima and Murayo, we do many things. Creating a schedule that we can
How do you know I don't do many things?
Okay, you manage shrine now. That's like your...
That's the only work I do, you think?
Okay, do you used to farm or cook? Or what do you used to do?
I cook.
Are you cleaning
You
your
cook?
house?
Of course I cook. What I ate yesterday was the A4 that I cooked.
Oh, I didn't know I can still cook.
I have
course
not
I
cooked
cook.
for us before.
I thought you have
okay,
like
when
a
you
cook
come
that
to us, I'll
handles...
cook
Oh, I did not know. So I imagine, I thought you only do one thing and that, like, that's all. It's only when you have children, you probably
It's
have
because
to...
I don't talk about what I do on sets. I do not... I'm not that kind of person.
See the way she said it, like me that we talk
So we
about
know
it,
about your businesses, okay, but we don't know about cooking. That's why I went to cooking. I thought I would have caught you there. No, I didn't expect it.
Nima, time management, please.
Okay, goal setting is one of the recipes of time management. So one must develop goal, and once you have a goal, a target that you're working at, it helps with time management.
Okay.
Another recipe for time management is to be concentrated and stay focused on every task. It is not good just making the time to pursue your priorities. You have to use that time well.
Yeah. So time management is important. Therefore, it's part of the recipe for success and effectiveness. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So before we bring in our juicy topics and guests for Thursday, we have our friends from Roland Properties. They're here to discuss the unveiling of their newest product. We have with us the investment manager of Roland Properties, Allied Services, Halima Oladipo. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, viewers. My name is Halima Oladipo. I'm an investment manager at Roland Properties and Allied Services Limited. And as our pledge implies, to be a leading world-class team and a point of reference for quality, excellent and affordable real estate services within Africa and beyond. And presently, we have been able to achieve about 30 estates to deliver to over 3,000 clients within Lagos, Ibadan, and Ogun State. And guess what? We are not stopping there. I've been so excited this morning to unveil our new product, our newest baby. Roland is now in Abuja.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So we are launching our newest estate situated at Lugbe in Abuja. So people know it as Sabon Lugbe. Just at the Lugbe East Extension. A plot is going for 4.5 million naira. That's the launch price for this plot of land at Lugbe. And for 300 square meters is going for 2.5 million naira. And guess what? This is a very, very beautiful location. If you know Abuja, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Abuja is not like Lagos. There's no hustle and bustle, no like traffic, no stress. And well, a lot of areas compared to Lagos, actually, And this place is a very beautiful place. The name of the estate is Hills and Fountain Estates, Lugbe, Abuja.
Nice, fantastic. So when is the official launch date?
Well, it's launched already.
Oh, so just
so you're letting people know they can catch in on it.
Yes, it's launched already. So you can come book for your site inspection.
So is it the land you're selling or the buildings? Or
the land for now. The estate is cleared, it's fenced. So it is ready. So when you purchase...
Sorry, for people who are buying outside Lagos.
Definitely.
Because site inspection, except the person has the opportunity to travel.
Definitely. So for Roland Properties and Allied Services Limited, we believe that seeing is believing. So we always try to encourage prospects, irrespective of where you are, to come for site inspection before you make any commitment. We always appreciate it when people can come and see these places first. So it won't be like, oh, no, this is not what I wanted. No, this is what I wanted. So when you see these places first, then you can go ahead and make commitment. Site inspection is very available. And for you that you are not in Abuja, you can always book for a virtual inspection. We offer virtual tours for those that are not residing within that locality.
Yes.
And this estate has an RFO, that's a right of occupancy, and it also has an layout approved.
What does right of occupancy mean?
Like the CFO?
That's what they call CFO in Abuja. It replaces the CFO.
Yeah, so that's like the main documentation that proves ownership. Is it? I know that when it comes to Abuja, there's always this approval challenge of you can only do bungalows, you can only do duplex. They have areas where they've zoned it to different things.
Yeah, so for this particular estate, is duplex.
Okay.
Yes, it's duplex.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's duplex. And also, we also have our fast-selling estate at Freedom City Splendor, Ibejuleki.
Okay, yeah, we know where you came to discuss that one.
Yeah, Freedom City Splendor, Ibejuleki. No, yours is Greenleaf Estate.
Like, have you been there?
No.
Let's go and drag her to go and see the place.
She will at her own at leisure time.
Okay, so you need to fence it, right? All right, she needs to fence it. So
even if she leaves it like that, there's nothing wrong with it. it's safe, it's secure. Even if you come back in 100 years' time, your land is there.
I'll be alive in 100 years.
But you have children, grandchildren that will definitely inherit it by the grace of God.
Oh, wow.
So for Freedom City, Splendor, Ibejuleki, a plot is going for 9 million naira, and you can pay within 6 months or pay within 12 months.
Nice. What's the initial deposit you have to be? 50%?
The minimum initial deposit is 500,000 naira for both the Hills and Fountain Estates and both the Freedom City Splendor.
The Lugbe is Hills and Fountain.
Yes, because it's in the location where we have hills, but the land is a dry and table land. There are no hills on the land. It's dry, it's table. So it's a very fantastic location, and it's very beautiful.
And is it a developing community, or is it good?
It's a developing community, and this is even one of the major reasons why there's high demand for housing within that area, because it's really developing rapidly. And it's very close to this, there's this Glory Dome.
Yeah,
yes.
Pastor
By Dunamis,
yes.
yes. And it's about 15 minutes drive from the estate to the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport.
Oh, wow.
So it's a very fantastic location you don't want to miss.
So you want to give us the numbers to call, just in case?
The numbers will be displaying on the screen, okay, so you can reach us on our website, www.rollardproperties.com. You can visit our Instagram, our Twitter, our Facebook pages at Rollard Properties Ltd. And you can send in emails to us, info@rollardproperties.com. We have our offices at Bagada, we have at Lekki Phase 1, we have at Salolo, that's Ogun State, and we have at Ibadan. So you can walk into any of our offices, and trust me, we'll be available to attend to you. And then if you can't come to our offices, you can always call any of the numbers showing on the screen. You can make inquiries. You can just call any of the numbers or even reach out.
I'll ask you a question out of the box.
Definitely.
Do you cram this thing, or just, I mean, do you stabilize it? I mean, you just really let everything out.
And I don't have to cram. You know, when you enjoy what you do and you believe so much in what you do, because I've been with Rollard and I believe in my brand. Yes, I believe in my brand. I've seen what we've achieved over the years.
I like that.
And so...
I just love the way you...
Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much. It's always a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
All right. So if she can trust Rollard, I guess you can trust Rollard. Let's go to the break. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we got a disturbing message from one of our fans who said, can you please bring up parents giving their kids between 9 and 10, I can even reduce it from 8 to 12, having a mobile phones. According to her, it's tearing her marriage apart. And obviously, she and her spouse are having issues with deciding what's the appropriate age to give a child a mobile phone. Now, she didn't tell us which side she was on, if she was for the child having a phone or against the child. But this is a conversation many parents are going to face at some point or the other, or many have already faced. And would like to hear your thoughts on this conversation. So many feel that it's too early. I do have kids in my own neighborhood who I see have phones, and my kids who are also between that 8 and 10 are coming to ask me for a phone, and I'm like, nah, it's not time. So what are your thoughts on this? There's a part of it that says, listen, we're in the mobile world, you know, things are happening. A child having a phone now or later doesn't really make any difference. It's how you train that child to accept that mobile phone that's the most important thing. Others are saying that there's time for everything. It doesn't have to be now. So what are your thoughts? Let's hear your views. You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-7698. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect, #YourViewTVC. Send us messages on YouTube and Facebook. We'll be happy to hear your thoughts. Okay, who would like to go first? You, mobile phones, YK?
I would like to just say, if you're going to give your child a phone, I think it should be a pure water phone. So that they're not
Online. Social media.
Online, social media, because social media is where they start to make all these kind of contacts that I think that they shouldn't be making. I know from experience, because for my brother's kids, 2 years ago or a year ago, I gave them for their birthdays phones, and they went social media. Hey, this one, Instagram, Twitter. By the time their father
Came back.
collected the phones first, you are not even studying again, because all they were doing was phone.
So you bought the phone yourself?
I bought the phone.
Why did you think it was okay to buy the kids a phone?
I didn't think about it.
Okay.
And I will be very honest, I didn't think about it. In retrospect, it was a bad decision. So, and they were 13. So, I personally do not think they should have more than... I mean, sometimes you need to give your child a phone. That's why I say a pure water phone. You are out all the time. You need to know what's happening to your child.
Yeah.
You need contact with your child. It's not the days where you have a phone in the house. We don't have phones in the house.
But some will argue that the reason why I give my child a phone is for educational purposes. So I need to give that internet so she can check YouTube Kids, watch videos, learning items. They're learning so many learning materials online that you like your kids to sing. You know, they have all these nursery rhymes that they learn. So whether you like it or not, some parents feel compelled to put internet so that the children can get learning materials.
Not the place to go
for
a child.
Yeah. Dr. your thoughts on this?
I believe that we're in this jet set age. You know, we are in this age where everything is happening so fast. Children start having their period at like extremely young age. You see children maturing so fast, and I feel that a lot of parents are rushing things, you know, we're rushing them into maturity, we're rushing them into being all grown up and glam. And we're not just letting children be children, let them play, let them have fun, let them go outdoors. It's a problem worldwide, worse in developed countries, and we're bringing it here. You see this phone thing, people are addicted to it. Adults that did not use it when they were small started using it as full-grown adults in their 20s, getting addicted to it. Then you now give a child. It affects the ability of a child to have relationships with other people, because everything they need is here. So why do I talk to you? I don't need to talk to you. I'll just be on my phone. And then your kids are connecting with people in China, India, are their friends. They don't have friends in the physical realm to connect with. So I'm of the opinion that in the minimum, they are teenagers. So from like 13 and above would have, before you can get a phone, I even prefer moving to 15. But when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. For me, 8 years, 9, 10, 11, 12, no. My reason is you can be online on your laptop. My kids have a laptop. They use it for coding. They use it for their assignments. You have a laptop. It's not the one that you carry a laptop and put under your bed. Because most of the time, what you hear is that children that have phones, they sleep with the phone. They wake up with the phone. It is not good mentally. Like, it has psychological damage that it causes to adults as well as children. So it's not about, oh, I love my child. You know, I get this thing like, oh, I love my child. My child did so well in school, and so I promised my child I'll get her whatever she wants. I said she wanted an iPhone, so I just now bought it for her because you can afford it. No. You don't buy your child a car at 13 because you can afford it, because you know it will harm the child.
Let me come to Nima. Some people will argue because, listen, just like you said, we're in that jetty age where everything is online. They're even in school. They're playing stuff for them, materials online. The school gets online and show them, and they give them assignments online. So as a parent, whether you like it or not, you have to put internet in your house. You have to put internet on the phones. You have to, at some point, give them this mobile phone to use. So because you're also doing business and you're doing work on your mobile phone, some will argue that, listen, I'd rather just buy your smartphone, use it for your assignments, and let it be. And then, of course, you are compelled to give the children the phone.
But you forget to be a parent. If your child has to do an assignment, why don't log it on and do it with them, search the word with them, give them the phone. When they're done, you take back your phone. You cannot give control away when you're a parent. It's not yet time. Until that child is an adult who can take responsibility or live with the consequences of any decision they make, you're still their parent and you can't lose control. I right now I can't even remember the Wi-Fi at all because I asked my daughter to log in on my tab, and her tab, put the password on her tab to do an assignment. And since then, it's always on whatever. So I just changed the password, and me too don't forget passwords. Because you can't take away control. I'm dealing with TV addiction with my second child. I know how it is. I've talked to a child psychologist, and I've been made to see the mistake of, because I'm a working parent, I'm hardly available as much as I would love to. And so to console the child, we just kept putting him. Now we've taken that accent away that he grew up with. We're dealing with other things and other. I don't want to grow up and my child is totally distant from me. Yeah. I must be a parent, and I'm praying hard to cover the number of years that I think I've done wrong. So as a parent, you cannot. I see my cousin's children. In their house, TV is only on weekends. I say they are their best in school. They are their best in school. They know how to focus. My own, because we are not at home, the TV, I'm dealing with that already. I cannot add phone to that problem. I cannot. All
right, let me take this call from Ademola.
The psychological, because phone, psychologists have said, is the most addictive tool. Just the man looking in the lights has this connection with a person's mind. And we as adults are trying to cope with it. Imagine a child who doesn't even know what to do.
Let me take Ademola. Ademola, are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, you're live. Go ahead, please.
My question is, I think a kid is led to have a phone, depending on the parents. We have the phones and they are having settings which we can privatize many things and put some privacy on some phones in which the kids cannot access some vital or matured information. Like our DSTV also, we know there's a parental controls on it in which they can control the use, and that will be only if the parents is around to monitor the child, because we have many kids now that they are upbrain with their intelligence. They have many things to do online, both education and even many things which they can't learn in our environment due to security issues. You can't leave your kids to play around. So I think this only means to encourage your kids, and that should be done in a moderate way. Okay. That's my own contribution.
Thank you very much, Ademola. So that's a good point. So that's the point many parents, or that's the argument many parents have. Like, listen, I need my children to actually learn. And you can put parental control, you can put other things to regulate, but in reality, it's difficult. Kids always find a way around this parental control.
Learn with their laptop. They can learn.
So you're saying laptop is more secure than a mobile phone?
Yes, you can learn with the laptop, you can learn with a tablet. I don't believe children should have phone. They shouldn't have access to social media. I don't think that the human brain...
access to
social media on the laptop.
No. You can't, what do you call it?
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. The children we are dealing with today, they are
years ahead.
Children.
I think I shared with you.
Corporate Generation Z children. Let me tell you.
Even the laptop, my own experience. Remember when I shared with you guys, I gave my daughter the laptop, right? And it was suggesting to her, she was trying to research, and it was suggesting all this adult content.
Yes.
She now opened it, and she saw, I had to sit down with her and explain to her what she just saw. We now broke it down, explained her, what do you think you just saw? And we discussed it together, because now I had to go through weeks of conditioning and reconditioning, because she had just seen what she shouldn't be seeing. So the point is that either social media, either phone, laptop, it's all the connection to it.
But you know that if you reduce exposure, my parents didn't have to sit with me a lot. I was not exposed. I tell people that I never, ever, when I say ever, ever saw anything X-rated until as I was a full-grown adult and I was in a bus and somebody was watching. And I said, put it away. I never saw it. I wasn't exposed to it. I couldn't have searched or stumbled my way into it.
But today they can.
Because you can.
Don't compare your age now to that. Wait, let me finish. To that of your children. Why I'm saying this is, you didn't grow up, even though social media had started or was starting, had not started the way it had not become what it is today. That's one. Two, the kids today, you are not even a millennial. You are what generation are you?
I don't know what it is.
You are old now. I'm older than millennial. Millennial, I think that one ends at 34. You are older than that. So now the ones after that, Generation Z, those ones, when you give them the phone or the laptop or the iPad, what they do, they will enter that app. hide it from you and whoever.
So
Yeah.
you didn't get what I was trying to say.
Let me share
let me
an
land.
experience.
What I'm saying is, I didn't have that exposure, so there wasn't really the need to start counting. My parents could be absent, and there won't be much damage because the exposure I had was limited to a very close circle.
Yes.
Now, we don't have that parental time to sit with the children, and then we are exposing them to things far beyond our own ability to even rationalize.
I'll come to you, Nima. I'm reading Obiajulu saying that the key thing is monitoring, but the truth is that no matter how much you think you can monitor, it's difficult to monitor.
these are
How many
smart
places can you be at the same
children.
time?
These are smart children.
let me give you
share
personal
an experience.
experience.
Okay, sorry. My daughter came home with Roman numerals. Fortunately, the phone was to me like this when I searched for 30. And I just clicked the first suggestion. I was shocked at what I saw. In fact, I almost threw my phone away. And I kept saying to her, you have to find a way. Open textbook and find the answer. I was just, that was the reaction. If somebody had told me this our popular search engine would drop this as suggestion, shock for catch me, I won't believe
Let me
it.
go on a break. When we come back, we'll bring in Mr. Theo Akatugba. He can also shed some light on this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So this topic we're talking about is quite loaded because there are so many angles. There's the angle of giving the child a phone, and there's the angle of the content we see on social media, which are two different things. Because the child, as I said, can use the phone as a learning material, but at the same time, we are also wary of all the content that this child could have access to. I think we have with us Mr. Theo Akatugba, who is also a parental coach. Good morning, sir. Are you there? Mr. Akatugba.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, you are. Thanks for staying with us. All right. So this issue, we have this concerned fan who sent us this message because it's tearing her family apart right now. Both herself and her spouse are indecisive over who or if their child should get a phone. Right? They're quarreling on this matter right now. So in your thoughts, what are the pros and cons of giving a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old a phone? Mr. Akatugba, are you there? Okay, we can't hear him right now because I think we're a bit frozen. So talk about you going to something earlier.
So I was going to talk about the fact that there are things you don't expose children to because you know that they don't have the capacity to handle it. We are having increased rates of teenage suicide. We are having a lot of children having to deal with cyberbullying. Children are trying to understand who they are, and they're having to compare. See, we were comparing ourselves with our neighbors. I was feeling like, I'm too tall, and this girl is too curvy. I'm not as curvy as she is. Now our children are comparing themselves with everybody around the world. My son is asking, why is my hair kinky? And their own hair is straight, and this one is blonde, and this one is brown. Blue eyes look finer. And we are having to constantly revalidate the fact that you are perfect the way you are, you're wonderful, God created you, this is your own spec. So having to expose children so early without enough psychological supervision, not many parents are informed enough to sit down and be supervising. We're not. So reducing exposure for me is number one. Then the ones that they don't get exposed to, you are around to check, because if they're exposed to 1 million things, you cannot undo 1 million. But if they're exposed to only 10, you can start working on your way to undo the 10. And then as they get older, they are able to properly, the ability to discern has increased than when they are younger.
So a message just came in and I come to you, Nima. This lady said that when we traveled for summer last year, my kids saw how their cousins all had phone in America, and they were exposed. So obviously her children went for summer holidays, and so children abroad at that age, some of them have phones. Some of their parents allow them to have phone, and I guess it's a norm around. Everybody has a phone. So their kids are now putting her under pressure to buy them a phone. And her husband was saying, go ahead and buy them a phone now. But that argument also, so I guess many homes have this issue where you see other kids abroad. somehow, I don't know how they're able to manage it. If they're able to manage
They're
it.
not managing it.
So
they have
They are not
crisis.
managing. Is it
They
not
are-
these children that carry gun and go and keep people?
And they are heavily medicated.
Yes.
The average person over there, the children are using different drugs to maintain their emotional state. Depression is very high over there. Those are the problems.
I say, where do you hear that child will go and collect gun here and come and start killing?
They will say they are
I beg
depressed.
me ask question. When I hear say cry keep pikin, go igbomo.
Cry, no,
Cry,
they
they keep pikin. If all your cousins have phone, can you not tell your child, you are different? I had this tough conversation with my daughter once. When we were coming to your house, my car broke down. She said, Mom, you just go and get your friend's car now. Let's be going. I said, auntie,
You told us, remember?
you need to learn certain things. And you must respect limits.
build resilience.
So you come and say, my cousins are doing this. No, you are different. And you must be able to defend that difference. If it is Gary that is our staple in this house, defend Gary anywhere you go, carry the flag. That's the home. I discovered I discovered my identity at about 16. By that 16, things for don't spoil. So children that have not discovered their identity, they don't know what to defend. They don't know what to hold dear. How can they endure things that they are confused about?
And how can the parents... Yeah, go ahead, Ricky.
My daughter is reading a book that, while she was here, she was telling me, and that it is the children are being trained by each other.
Hey, we're no longer parenting.
We are no longer parents. We are no longer the children's role model. It is their peer group.
Yes.
Because they spend so long with their peer group. Now, when they have phones, they are
Perpetually.
with their friends.
So the phone is training.
It is what their friend is training them to do that they do. So that's where we have to be very, very observant. Because...
Well, they will accuse you that, see, there's a global village. You know, you have to get, your children have to
Which
get...
village?
No, they keep telling that. Why can't we need to agree? Because when we have these
you are living in the
conversations...
village, when you are living in the village, you go and sit down in another person's house. So you sit down inside your own house.
They'll
Then
tell
you all
you...
converge later in their evening or something and
They'll
discuss.
tell you that their counterparts abroad have phones. I'm just giving you the argument of women or parents who actually give their children phones, that their counterparts abroad have phones. This should want to expand their minds. The idea is to learn, because I can't continue to confine them to the four walls of this classroom, what their teachers are teaching them. I need my child's mind to be exposed to know that you can use them. What's that one they use in America? They have this IELTS. My kids use it sometimes. So you want to expose your children, you have to use internet. So how, therefore, do you monitor and also expose your children to global best practices? You want your children to have more than what they...
What do we call global best practices? Because I know I watched a few interviews, and very successful Americans were talking about, even in Europe, they were talking about how they don't have a TV in their house, and how the fact that media is extremely controlling how children behave, what they say. I saw my children started watching a particular series, and it became a bit more rude, just because. And I said, when I watched the series, I understood, okay, so everybody in this series, talk back to their parents. Yes. Everybody in this series feels their parents don't know it. They don't know it. They don't know nothing. They don't know nothing. And so he's coming and he's behaving like mommy too does not know anything. Mommy doesn't know anything. I'm like, okay. So it is because you watch this thing you're watching is making you feel like parents don't know anything. So they are being, the media is programming, and parents are unaware of the level of programming that is going on in your child's life. That is just watching cartoons, TVs. You're watching, as in I watched one series, and the person was saying that, oh, she's so happy now, she's in love. And then the next thing, she now held a lady and said, yeah, I found the one. And it's for children. You know, so like, and I saw my kid's face, and I said, okay, you know, we discussed this thing, like some people, he said, well, how can you be falling in love? That happens, you need to let your child know, but if you reduce the exposure,
what if you're not there? What if you're not there? Because let me go to what BC is saying. BC says monitoring doesn't mean they won't venture into it. It only gives you, the parents, an opportunity to catch it early and deal with it. Information you are hiding, they can hear and see it outside. It's best you detect it early and correct impressions. Okay, so she said that she agrees that you cannot be able to monitor everything, but if you are constantly monitoring, you may catch it early and be able to correct it.
Let me quickly say this. I am a parent who lives home 6. My husband lives 5. We are not available. I did not give my children a phone. This is what I did. I looked for a table phone where I can put my daughter's SIM. We put the SIM in the table phone. Cleverly, these 2 children run the thing. It's no longer working. That means you can't get a phone. Because the purpose of that phone is so that I can communicate with you. And if I'm not doing that, remove it. I put a CCTV. If I cannot do that, I remove that as well. You will remain with the old method of, hello, yalaulu, shetiro moyin, shoti dele, eshema. Hello, yabeji. That's what I will be doing. That has worked so far. Call your neighbors, call somebody, any adult, be friends with your community. Let people, the village that we are talking about, leave the village. Let people check on, let people check on your children.
Mr. Katugba is back. I'll come to you, YK. Mr. Theo Katugba, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, fantastic. We lost you earlier. So what are your thoughts on this? As I said, with a concerned viewer saying that this issue of giving her child a phone is tearing her family apart.
Okay, did you get the first part of my response?
Nothing, absolutely nothing. We didn't hear you at all.
No. Okay, the question you asked was the 9-10-year-old child. First of all, we live in a world where we tend to copy or want to emulate one another. It's even very difficult when you do not expose a child to all the avalanche of information. It's difficult training them within the confines of your home. And so when a child is demanding for a phone between 9 and 10, what you are doing is that child might not be matured enough to manage the volume of information that the child will be exposed to at that age when you give that child a mobile phone that is enabled to receive, that have internet connectivity. And if you want to give a child any phone at that age, to be able to reach that child because maybe you are far away from the child, you are a child like a desktop phone or a phone that simply can receive the call, that would be enough for the sake of communication.
What of the sake of learning materials, exposure to different things? You see, many people say that. Yeah, go ahead.
That is the big one. This started with me in Ghana. We were told that the school needed a tab. And then my son was in SS2. That is a child, SS2. And we bought a tab. Many of the parents presented tabs to their children. And they said there was a device in it that could monitor the number of hours they spent learning. Do you know that majority of the children had access to pornography? There was a way they were able to crack that phone and they were able to pretend as if they were attending classes. The end result was mass failure in that school. So at the end of the day, it became counterproductive. The good intention was not achieved.
Interesting.
So the challenge of maturity.
Wait, sorry, you know what I'm saying?
Bypassing.
My niece, she bypassed everything. And when you pick up her tab like this, it looks very innocent. It's only because Rolari came, and Rolari is a computer programmer, that Rolari just did bang, 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 everything just came out. Everybody else was looking, oh, this is what is this again?
Instagram.
Magic.
That tablet is locked in my daughter's room. She came to me the other day and she needs to get some information. I said, go and call Brother Mohammed.
Somebody who knows.
When Mohammed comes, I will give it to Mohammed. You will sit down with him, access what you want to access while he's watching you, then you give it back to him, go and lock it up again. Because if you leave them, these children...
So I think that as parents, we need to understand that we're not meant to just please our children and do whatever they want or they like. We're meant to guide them until they are old enough and wise enough to make informed decisions by themselves. So I want to ask you, sir, if you're still there.
Is there?
How do we gauge this maturity? Because I feel that many of our children see us on social media. They see us posting. And because they want to do what mommy is doing or they want to do what they think their friend is doing, they also want to get on social media. I'm really worried about their ability to cope with cyberbullying. We as parents, as adults, are still struggling with them insulting you every day online. How do we help children who are maturing so fast to be able to handle the information that they'll be receiving by being online? Because whether we like it or not, they still have to go online.
Okay. Good. The first thing is your general principle as a family. What is the thrust of your family? What are the artifacts of lessons, of messages, of teachings that you have taught the child from infancy till the time the child is 10 or 8 years, when the child can have conversation with you? When a child is having conversation with you, you'll be able to decipher from those conversations the level of the child's maturity, how the child decode information, and how the child encode information. So that From then, you will what? Another one is the child able to keep an item and remember where that item is kept? When an item is being looked for in the house, is he able to say, it's here, it's kept there? Or is a careless one that even if you give her a phone today, in 2 days, the phone will be misplaced? Finally, how does the child respond to people when somebody comes to the family and makes a proposition that is contrary to the information you've given to the child? Does the child follow that person or the child corrects the person? So you check the interactivity of the child with others. You deliberately put your child among others to give him a wrong proposition other than what you have given. If the child comes back that, Daddy, Mommy, do you hear that this person said this? Whereas this is what is supposed to be. Because information will come to you and you have to be able to respond to that information from a standpoint. You can't, if you don't have any to stand on, you can't reject a bad information or accept a good.
That will help you to gauge his maturity. Yes,
so I wanted to ask this question because this is what I see most parents do. Once a video surfaced online where parents gifted their 4-year-old girl an iPhone 13, and the little girl was saying to her mom, this is an iPhone, this is an iPhone, this is not my gift. It's too much. 4-year-old girl in that video, and the parents thought that was a gift. So how do you, do parents who have experienced lack in their lives, do they exactly make up for that in gifting their children all the luxuries of the world? Does it make their children never go through it? Because some parents will say, no, I don't suffer, my pikin no go suffer. And so they'll make up for everything that they didn't have as a child in their children.
If you can afford it, should you give your child expensive gifts?
You can afford. You didn't have a phone, so your child must have one.
That is poor that's poor parenting. You don't poison the child because you thought that, because at every stage of a child's life, you are there to protect the child. A lot of people that have studied over the years, some children are given all these gifts as a replacement of the parents' presence.
Exactly.
And when they do this, sometimes the parents are away, they are not always available. And so they just give them whatever they want to pacify them or show to them that they love them. But you will be hurting your child by presenting to the child a poison or an item that can injure the child's human development. A lot of children today have only been exposed to what they are not matured enough to handle. And the end result is what we see today. Someone is looking mature, but the person appears mature. But the reality of the matter is the person is a scattered person internally. Because all the information that the person is dealing with, she doesn't have the capacity to manage them, and she doesn't have an adult.
Mr. Kato, sometimes it's easy to say it when we live in this kind of society where our moral standing is still, somewhat decent. When you live in a different country, for example, so the Nigerians living abroad right now, they are struggling with this issue because in that community, the average 10-year-old has a phone. They're in school, they carry their mobile phones, they're online. So your Nigerian child is here, putting you under pressure that I need a phone. And they live in a society where it's normal, it's a normal thing. So how does a Nigerian parent who lives outside the country manage that conversation with their child abroad? Can they still give the child the phone?
No, that's what I say. They must be firm on their family values and repeat to that child, you are not the other child, and let them know the dangers, the ills, and the danger they might face if the phone is given to them too early. And they must give them active examples. I face the same challenge. My son comes from school and tells me straight and pointedly that there are people of his age that has a phone. And I said, yes, because I love you and I want the best for you. At a certain age of this, I will give you a phone. But not until then, because there are too many information that you might not be able to manage. That's why you see all the dangers we see. I gave them example of bullying, those who misbehave, homosexuality. I say all these are part of the dangers in the phone. I don't want you to see it. Even if you see it privately through your friend, I shouldn't be the one that will give you such an access, whereas I'm trying to stop you from doing that. So the child is managing the situation with me, but I must be active in dissuading the child from that course. That's our job as parents.
Right.
I just wanted to say, for Christmas, I gave my nieces and nephews, we gave them pure water phones. Will you believe that they have not touched those phones?
Yeah.
They have not touched those phones. So they are there inside the packet. They are not interested.
They are not interested. For me, I went into the university in a time when I didn't have a phone. I had clear difference between when I got a phone in my result and when I did not have a phone. like it was different. And there wasn't social, it wasn't social, it was just the fact that they could text me. So semester, we did not have phone. We passed. Semester, we had phone, carry over. The ability, it took my parents to pull my ears that, oh, because you now have a phone, you are getting distracted from class, you are having your result like this. Some people, children are children. They don't understand that responsibility. We spoke about recipe for time management. They don't have that ability to say, this is the time for me to do this. Let me segment. So there is abuse, there is misuse, and as parents, we shouldn't aid their inability to manage themselves. We should encourage them and put in that discipline. You can't raise your children based on what everybody else is doing. You must raise your children based on your own value. And that means parents must know their own values. You must identify what is core to you. What are your core values so that you cannot tell children that this is not who you are. We are a loving family. We are a growth-focused family.
Right. Mr. Akatuba, I want to quickly ask, because I believe that there's a blessing in disguise in denying a child even things you can afford. You teach that child resilience. When we're growing up, until we had our own, in my house, you have to have a 2 weeks notice, minimum, to attend a party. Till today, no parties do or die for me, because my parents will never approve a party that is short time. And I grew up like that. If I want to go, I go. If I don't want to go, I don't. And I left, everyone will not fall. But I saw how desperately some of my friends, when we were in secondary school, would sneak, put clothes in their bag. It just didn't work for me, because in my house, there were rules. Is there no, even in the midst of the example Morel gave abroad, where every child has this thing?
Not every child. Some children don't.
I'm just saying, I'm saying where every child has it. Let's say in their school, every child already has it. That your child does not have it. Are you not teaching your child one lesson to deal with life? Or is there no lesson at all that you can teach your child?
Of course, you have said it all. What is parenting? And all children are not the same. All children are sent into the world to achieve various purposes. And parents are assigned to them in order to guide them onto those purposes. Whether we like it or not, we have the story of Michael Jackson, who was brought from a family of many, and he said his father was particularly hard on him. In life, you must parent your children according to a divine order. God has inspired you. You will know that out of all my children, this one is different, this one is different. The same way you must deal with your children in relation to the general public. Depriving your children of what will harm them is parenting at its best, at its prime, at its best order. You don't give them because you can afford. It's like this. You can afford to buy a car. Therefore, you buy a car and give it to your 12-year-old to drive. And then the child kills himself with the car. Have you done him any good? There are people who have bought cars for their children, and that same car led to their death because it was presented to them at a time too early for them to manage the excitement that comes with owning a car. So parenting is not, we are not parenting in collaboration. We are parenting our children to achieve the purpose for which they are brought. And your minimum role is to guide them from danger by not giving them what is not appropriate for them at different stages of their lives.
Thank you. The example of a car. The person I was with in America has like an 17-year-old boy. And I know that you can actually drive. I think it was 8.
Get a learner's permit.
Yes, you can get a learner's permit. And the man had cars at home. And I said, why is your son not driving? Why are you taking this old boy for basketball? It was a sacrifice for him to always take him for practice. And he said 3 of his friends that got a car for their birthday, 3 of them ended up in the hospital. See, because all of them, they are so excited about the new car, they race and they have accidents. 3. So he was depriving his child because he was trying to put that control in place that you cannot, your friends do it, and even with all the advice, they overspeed, get involved, they have a crash, and they are in the hospital. I don't want to lose you like that. So sometimes we must implement that discipline for the sake of the child.
It's just like asking, will you give a child a gun?
Because you love the child.
Because you love the child. The phone is the gun of the
mind,
of the brain.
Billy Kiss Maffe says, my older 2 are teenagers. I don't have control over their devices. What I do, and I've always done, was to admonish them with the hope that the training I have given them, still giving them, would guide them. My oldest is 18. Parenting in this age is tough. Billy Kiss, for the first time, I don't agree. Urema Gold says, I'm not getting a child a smartphone till she's of age to work and earn it. None of my children is getting anything they didn't work hard for. That's my own principle. Thank you.
So there's somebody that, I was talking to somebody, I know a few people whose children have phones. I know my kids are friends with them and they come to me, Mommy, I want a phone. And I just tell them, point blank, you're not getting a phone just yet. And the reason, one of my own reasons why I choose not to give a child a phone is because, yes, as you said, the initial justification for being a learning tool will be valid, but the problem is that kids will continue to explore. After they use it for learning, they've done this IELTS, they've they've done everything else. After a while, they'll start to, what else is on this phone? Because Mom is using it, Dad is using it, every other person is using it. So they explore more. And you that maybe monitor for the first 6 months, maybe 1 year, thinking, oh, my kids are fine. By year 2, you already assume they are responsible. But no, they're not. They are now getting smarter. And they start looking for other things that you, by that time, you've already lost sight of their accessibility.
They say you don't use, most of us don't use 1/10 of what our phones can do.
Yes.
Because most of us, we just use it to do
the basics,
for the basics. That 50%, the remaining
90%.
They will go inside. They will bring it out. They will do things. Because sometimes I just touch something on my phone, something will just come out at me. I'll say, hey, what is this one? What's that?
In my house, the rule is, because during school days, we don't watch TV. The only channel you're allowed to watch in my house is Yoruba channel, because I want my kids to understand. In fact, Gabriel understands Yoruba. I'm talking to somebody in Yoruba, and he's replying the best thing, because he understands what I'm saying. So it's exciting. The only channel in the house during the week is Yoruba channel. Weekends, I can allow you to watch your cartoons, but you don't watch TV. You can't come into the house during the week. It's not allowed. These are certain rules that you must have.
So it's important to have rules. You created Yoruba channel because you wanted them to understand Yoruba. Somebody else might do something else works for them. It's important for you to understand what your goals are for your family, and then you now direct all the energy towards achieving that goal. For someone, it will be, you can learn how to do housework or other things within the house, but we must channel the children's energy. Our children have so much capacity.
So I must add this addendum to this Yoruba channel thing. Right now, they're doing a lot of kissing and drinking and bad behavior. Yoruba channel used to be very clean, culture, you learn greeting. But now, I don't understand what's going on. When I'm watching Yoruba, I'm like, what is this again now? I'm constantly looking for a more...
movies before. Sorry, Nima, Nigerian movies before, they would never kiss on the lips.
Yes.
Now they will kiss, they will hold their everything.
So I'm constantly there with them with the Yoruba thing.
We need monitoring.
Yes, these fat parents. So I got a laptop, small one. This one that is like an analog that cannot even do, only for coding. Only to come back home one day. Madam was watching YouTube on browser. Mommy, no, it's just, how did you do? She searched it. It came out. She searched for the content one day. She started watching cartoons on. Let us watch Moana. Auntie? And that's that one I'm dealing with. How many do I know? Me that is the mother. Imagine that day I searched for that number for her. She just said, Mommy, what's this? Is it not this one? Is it not this one? So, okay, let me search. I just put in a Roman numeral.
And the first thing you saw.
In fact, the suggestion, and did not give me one. I kept scrolling down to see whether at the bottom I would see what I'm looking for.
Adults.
Till I finished scrolling, I didn't see what I was looking for. If it was my child, I said, take the phone. Search by yourself.
What you would have seen would have been shocking. So as parents also, we need to become, we're not living in jet age. You cannot afford to say, like, YK, I'm a dinosaur. No, you must understand how to protect.
You're not a dinosaur. You must
understand this thing. My phone, my search engine, I have removed, it cannot suggest any adult content in any form.
I did that.
So
Which child is using my phone? No child is using my phone.
No, you be so bad.
We need to just do all these things in our little ways to ensure, and then you too don't look at adult content on your phone, because when you look at it, the children can just pick it and continue from where you are. Now, even Instagram, do you know what happens on this? Before you scroll 2 minutes on Instagram, you have seen somebody naked, like almost naked.
Yes, that's a different topic for a different day. Content, our responsibility, content on social media, we have to talk about that.
So yes, they are the hospital. Because at the pediatric stand, all of us have to queue and wait for our number. All the parents who had crying babies were offering their phone. They were giving them their phone, opening Baby Shark from Baby Shark. One particular small child, toddler, if the mother open, we would do the phone like this. That's not what I want. That's not what I want.
So when that one I don't agree with you. The truth is that we all give our kids phones. I give my child the phone.
I'm just admitting it.
So we all do it. You take Baby Shark, it's a tease. I will give you Baby Shark. Please,
but we must find alternative.
How are we doing with this money?
My son kept asking for my phone. I just didn't want to do it, and I survived it.
What I'm saying is that
survive it. So let me tell you something.
I have to wrap up with Mr. Katuba, yeah.
Okay, my son has this addiction to fast cars. So we bought him a group of toy cars, and he kept losing them. So we seized everything. I just noticed that for the past 4 months, he has not used the car and he did not die. And before he would come up, Mommy, all my friends have cars. When I said no, now he has stuck to that no. Okay.
They get my phone for 2 hours. We agree. We're on Saturday, because everybody chooses their own. Michael goes for his own laptop. Everybody, the one that doesn't have laptop will take my phone. 2 hours. After 2 hours, you're done. You bring it back, and I know what you're checking. So where did you find a system that works for you? Let Mr. Katuba wrap up. Mr. Katuba, as we wrap up this conversation, what's your final advice to parents, especially those who are fighting? There's a marriage right now fighting on this matter, husband and wife. So help me advise them. What do they do? How do they go about it?
My final advice to parents who are fighting is that they should stop fighting and come to a congress of opinion and make sure that a child is protected from the dangers that are around, the information dangers and all the things that are available for children on the phone. If you must give your children phone, give them phone with which you can communicate with them. And then let us not be carried away by the way the world is going, because we have a responsibility to our children not to make the world better than it is. Our job is to protect our children, to give them the phone just close to the time they'll be going to the university, and manage the information, have 1 year with them on the phone before they get into the university from 16 years. When teach them that if you Google that, how do you kill yourself, tell them that they will find a way, but their job is to know that killing is bad. The point is, anything you find on the internet, you will find opinions, but you have to select what is true. And if you don't teach your child what is true, the child will accept the information on the internet as true.
Thank you very much, Mr. Katuba.
Trained by Google.
I have to. We'll bring you back, Mr. Katuba, because somebody just sent me a message which I think is really crucial. Somebody said that his son or her son just got addicted to pornography, and is for using the laptop, not even a phone. So we'll bring you back and make it the topic of another day. Children, teenagers.
You should take this child to see a therapist. There are therapists that would help deal with the addiction.
But dealing with it is one thing. But how do you help a child manage? Because they will see it. Pornography is there. At some point, your child will type something, the search engine will bring up suggest something adult. The child will see it. So what do you do to help a teenager, even a little child, you can still, it's impressionable, a teenager whose mind is a bit formed already? How do you, so Mr. Katuba, we'll bring you back on that, but thank you very much for joining us this morning. We appreciate your thoughts.
My daughter will never allow her children to watch YouTube. Because
YouTube Kids, though. There's YouTube Kids.
But you see, the YouTube Kids, what comes out, there are adverts that come out.
True.
That have adult content.
That's true. Very correct.
She says it doesn't. It stops them from concentrating on one thing, because they can keep scrolling. Okay, I don't like this one. I like this one. So they have the short attention span.
Yes.
So it is either the other one that you all subscribe to, or nothing.
Okay,
because I didn't know. I used to let them watch.
That's a good point too. I didn't even think about that. So YouTube Kids constantly suggest, doesn't make you focus on one thing. You're constantly looking for something else. That's a very, very good point. Okay, final words, guys. I have to run.
Lima, I've said it too. Cry no they keep picking. Cry no they keep picking. You know if you cry blood. Let them learn self-restraint, resilience, and a lot of other values from, denying them certain things, are dangerous to them. And find only what is beneficial. Only something that will be beneficial in short and long term for your child should be given to them.
But why kid who gave a child a gift? Now you've taken the gift away because you realize that the child was misusing it. But isn't that even more hard? Isn't that harder? Because now the child will continuously think of what to do to get that. How she came to you recently.
When they grow up. In the list, she has taught that child there's danger somewhere.
Yes.
In the list.
When they grow up, they will know how to handle it.
Okay, talk your final words.
My final words would be that the parents should know better. Don't allow society pressure you into how you should raise your child. You raise your child to be a solution to the problems in the society.
Okay, Mikey, any final thought?
No, we should stop copying the Western world and face our own way. Because we face that way now, we fall into gutter. Please follow your own way.
Yeah. So I think for me, I think I will just say the same thing. Have your own rules. You know, everybody's house is different. And if you indeed choose to give your child the phone, it's your prerogative, but ensure that you do proper monitoring. You're constantly watching, you have all the parental guidance control, ensure that you know what they're watching per time. And then at least you've done the best you can do.
I mean, like Nigerian movies that we didn't used to kiss before. Now suddenly we are kissing because it's a kissing inside movie.
In fact, I'm so disappointed in Yoruba. What is this? That's all we can take on the show. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.